Car 9, Greg Collins from Australia. And car 10, Jay Halsey from USA. We have that drivers from the last marshalling positions, please.
Hi, Rocket.
And also Kyle. Next guy's the battery.
We started the 1989 stealth car project as a way to get this car basically to the collector so you can add it to your collection. This car has been one that's been in demand for a long time. People have been asking about it, they've been wanting it. It's a car we never came out with. It's probably one of the most iconic cars that we have besides the RC10 and be a great addition to your collection.
You know, this is my favorite project, I believe, of all the projects here because it was the first ground up departure from the RC10 that I was involved in and designed most of the parts, where Roger had instilled in me kind of his design intent over the years, which was when you put your pencil to the paper, don't start out with any constraints. Just if there was no limits in what you were going to design, what would you want to make? And that's where we started with this. Obviously down the line, we kind of pulled it into reality and went with something that we thought was going to be a good platform to race at the World Championship and something that would give us a good start on the next generation of RC10. And a very successful product. And I'm really proud of it.
アソシエイテッドにとってもその前の年の世界選手権1987年で負けてるんで、
そうね。
どうしても勝ちたい大会ではあった1989年の大会は、だからかなり気合い入って応援してくれてた感じがあるよね。
そうね。
Cliff and I think Butch Klober, Mike Reedy went to the pre-worlds to test. I was in high school at the time and I couldn't get the extra time off school.
You know, we went to the warm-up race, which was, you know, many months before the World Championship. And at the warm-up race, we all ran RC10s. We didn't have anything built in. We planned on going to the warm-up race and figure the place out and come back and build, you know, a handful of cars to go back over and race the World Championship with, which is exactly what we did.
The dirt was a little bit more loamy at the pre-worlds, and but it had that concrete curbing on the inside, and back then we didn't have any tracks like that. So what their big complaint about the track was if you got just a front wheel up on there, you would catch it or whatever and it'd knock you out of the line. But when we went to the Worlds in their race conditions with way more cars and the temperature and everything, the track got blue grooved and very, very hard. So it literally had a line probably, you know, just a little bit wider than the car off of that curb.
To the back section, one mistake, one wide line is all it takes.
So you couldn't do much passing. I mean, someone really had to make a mistake to pass, because if you tried to pass them, if you got out in that dust, you'd just drop back quite a ways.
Cliff had designed an updated new RC10 stealth car with longer front arms, longer front shocks, a graphite chassis, and a totally new precision transmission. Cliff gave the first car to Jay Halsey to test at home. Jay spent a lot of time testing and came up with a different front shock bracket that he liked better.
Once we had the input from the test that they did, we tried to recreate similar situation on our local track, and so we go down there at night and test.
You know, the car that we designed here was more of a rigid platform. It had upper deck on it, like this replica did, and the car we raced over there did, and we made it, in my opinion, too rigid.
私は車を見たときに、ちょっと今までの RC10 のシリーズとはかなり違ってた。まずそのアッパーデッキがついたってことね。それによってシャシがかなり剛性が上がって、ただそれをするとすぐ車がシビアになるんで、それをカバーするためにロングアームとダンパーですね。 これスペシャルコーティングのダンパーが用意されてて、これがすごい良くて、四駆にも使わせてもらいました。
It was very sharp to drive. It had a lot of steering, probably a little bit too much. So we were battling an oversteer situation.
And we thought the same thing. We thought the car was a little twitchy. We just thought that it was a little harder to drive. We needed to mellow it out a little bit. And so we just started making different shock towers. I think we made a rear shock tower, made a front shock tower, different springs and longer shocks. And I think we changed the weight distribution a little bit. But we finally got it where I felt comfortable driving the car. And it was still very fast.
And Jim and Jay came up with this front end, the longer shocks, the taller tower, different installation ratio on the arm, which gave it kind of like a falling rate front end, and it made the car understeer a lot and very easy to drive.
And it just kind of mellowed the car out. It wasn't as sensitive, and you could ride up on those curves.
I then went to my son Curtis and asked him if he brought along any fiberglass sheet material, and he said yes. So I asked him to make copies of Jay's bracket for all of our A-team drivers there. It took a whole day to do that by hand with the Dremel, but he got it done.
Curtis brought some sheets of fiberglass and this Dremel and some drill bits and other parts and everything, and we made the parts over. We brought the extra shocks, obviously, because it used longer shocks, and we made the parts over there before practice start.
想像以上に走ったっていうかね、どちらかっていうとグリップの低い路面だったんで、一番良かったと思うのはやっぱりロングアーム、これが車にとっては一番の利点だったと思うんですよね。
僕たちは車を手にしたのがレース直前で練習してなかったよね。
そうで、現地でもらったっていう感じですね。でもいきなり走ってよく走ったんですよね。それまでに朝路の方でも十分なテストをしてたと思うんですよね。
So we have no practice before championship, but first impression was really smooth and good bumpy and very fast lap time. It was very impressive.
We made a car for a specific track. And I think in production, when you're going to build a production car and build it for the masses, it has to be a car that is going to be more suited for the average guy and the pro driver, but something that can be tuned for any track surface.
Engineering, Mr. Clifford, who always says, I'm looking for what is the position of the pin. It means which position is best, like suspension inside, outside, and iron inside, outside, and how much distance between axle and suspension outside pin. So he always thinking which is best for championship. This car was completely different position, so he didn't want to tell everything. So the reason why they didn't sell the car, I guess. So because 2 years later, World Championship, Associated made another stealth car. That is the reason why I guess they don't wanted to tell everything. So because a very, very top secret car.
At the track, we didn't allow any photos of our new stealth car, so he's not even allowing me to photograph it. He's very good.
That was the first race. I think we ran the stealth transmission. It was dubbed the stealth car. And, we only had a few of the cars there, and it was like a super secret thing. We had to keep the bodies on and not let people take pictures of them and everything.
We were told by Gene and Roger that, hey, this is a top secret car. We need to keep it under towels in our pit area. Don't show it to anybody. Don't allow it to be photoed. We had our own pit area that had, kind of ribbons going around it, caution tape going around it to stop people from coming into our pits. And nobody was supposed to see this thing. It was supposed to be secret. And obviously we were trying to protect the market in the US, you know, with our product that was already on the market. And we knew that, you know, if we were going to make this thing eventually in production, it would be a while before it was out. So anyway, it was supposed to stay top secret. So we did a pretty good job of that. All of us except for Roger. And then there's a famous photo out there that Roger was in our pit area and he was holding the car up like this, looking at it, and somebody from RC Car Action in the distance got the photo and published it. So the guy that wanted us to keep it secret is the one that let the cat out of the bag on at least the only photo of the car that was taken at the World Championship.
We tried to make this car as close to the original as possible, down to the paint scheme, which is Masami's paint scheme. We got all of his original sponsors. The decal sheet is amazing, so I'll just basically paint the body green and add the decals, and it's pretty much just like what you're seeing.
Associated did a very good job because, I mean, I'm sitting here and you look at the cars, I mean, they're very, very close, just all the little details. You know, one thing I was pointing out earlier is Masami had this little KO Propo sticker on the bottom, and they recreated that sticker, you know. Just all the little details, the stickers, the same rear wheels. I mean, you look, this is a car Masami ran. This is the recreation, and it's exact. I think they did a great job with it.
You know, the front arms are basically exactly what we ran over there, and the rear arms are the same thing we ran over there, and the arm mounts and the front bulkhead and the shape of the chassis and so forth is a very true replica, along with the wheels and tires, and, you know, even pink wheels and replica TR31 rear tires.
I'm so happy to sell this car. So it was 1989, now 2025. It means 36 years later for sale. So very, very exciting. So many years.
多分私がね、今見てもそんなに古い車には見えない、すごい斬新な感じのね、新しさを感じると思いますね。
With this project, we had Masami Hirosaka involved, and he gave us a lot of input on his thoughts and ideas of the car or the project, the body, the decals, the appearance, and it was really good working with him. Haven't worked with him in quite a while, and it's good to have him on board with Team Associated again, and he seemed to be pretty happy with the project.
So when I came into the office and I was shown this sample of the replica car, I was pretty much blown away because it brought back so many memories of little details about the car that I'd really forgotten about after all these years.
A lot of the features on the car exactly match, or as close as we can match, the original car. The suspension arms are copied off of the original ones we ran.
This is really an amazing replica of the car, actually Masami's car that he drove, but all of our cars that we drove at that race were very, very similar to this.
The front shock tower, the hard anodized shocks, hard anodized shock caps, the 2.2 rear wheels, the Yokomo style pink wheels, the bolt-on square rear hubs, the battery strap, the electronic speed control mount. All those things are as close as we could to the original car, and I think it came out pretty good.
Even all the decals that are on this, his colored flames and all the decals that are on the body here.
Masami's colors, they stand out. He was the only one who really ran green back then, but I think it's awesome that they did this car, and I think he'll be very proud once he sees it.
The stickers on the wing that are signed by the guy who painted his bodies, they're all included in the kit, and just an amazing items that are included in here to, you know, just to please all the vintage enthusiasts out there and collectors.
They built these special wing mounts and stuff, and this car has these special wing mounts, and
The only item that I'd say is not exactly the way we ran it in Australia is the chassis is a black anodized aluminum chassis, but the graphite chassis with the kick-up in it is available as an option.
The aluminum chassis we're using on the Masami car is the same high quality 7075 aluminum that we're using on our race cars. We will be offering the graphite chassis as a factory team option part. Along with that, we have machined Delrin rear arm mounts and front bulkhead. Those are going to be factory team option parts as well.
This is the aftermarket carbon fiber chassis that they'll release for this car, and I mean the quality is great, and you know, it looks really good and looks exactly like what we had back in the day.
It looks great. You have to really look to see that it's not a graphite chassis, and the aluminum chassis is really super high quality.
I think it's going to be probably one of the best selling vintage cars they've made so far.
で、私はこの車に関しては走ってほしいですね。ユーザーにね。こういう再販モデルっていうのは走らない人も多いんですけど、これどのぐらい違うのか、これ大変よく走ると思いますね。現在に車にないものもたくさん持ってるんで、ぜひそのフィーリングを確認してほしい。そんな感じしますね。
I haven't seen Masami in 20-something years, but we were very close at the time, but we were also very tough competitors on the track, you know, but I don't know that there's anybody that was as dedicated and committed than Masami. You know, I think of people that had an amazing career in RC. I mean, and Masami is one of them.
So, after 36 years, it is now being released. I hope you will enjoy driving it. Good luck.
Hold the